Big Cat, welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or massages. Come in, come on.
Hey there.
I've got intel. Recon is afoot. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Just waiting a hot minute for the notification to go. Oh, it's just gone out. To let the big cats know we are assembling, darling dears. Before we go into the read, darling dears, we need to talk about, well, this is the book that I'm currently reading at the moment. It's The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Yes, it's fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely. Why? It's about how people think and feel about money, how they will use immediate gratification rather than long-term goals. It undoes the psychological patterns that you have, and it remakes it in your mind, darling dears, because you need to get your mind right about the monies. This is a fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely book. Trust and believe. Now that we've discussed the psychology of money, let's talk about your vagus nerve, darling dears. VEGUS, darling dears, the vagus nerve. It's very important. Why? Because it controls your heart rate, your digestion, and your respiratory functions, which are very important. Okay? You can stimulate the vagus nerve through your throat vibrations, darling dears, through humming or chanting. Why is that important? It promotes relaxation, it lowers your heart rate, and it reduces stress when activated, darling dears. So you need to be a humming cat. Or what was the other one? Norengi or whatever that is, darling dears. One of them, darling dears. If you're humming, you have to do this, darling dears, because you have to start stimulating your throat chakra, darling dears. You've got to know how to lower your heart rate, because we're going to be going through some interesting times, especially during the month of October. I'm telling you, darling dears, you'll see. Listen, let me allow it yet. No, should I leave it alone? No, the vagus nerve, it improves your mood. As I said, it will lower your anxiety. It enhances your digestion. Yes, and you must regularly stimulate your vagus nerve through humming, darling dears. Be a humming cat, yeah? A calm cat. Because when you are calm, you make wise decisions, informed decisions, especially when you've got your psychology of money on you, darling dears, so you know what to do. No, I'm not being promoted for, I haven't got no promotion for this, but this is a bloody good book. It's a page turner. And I believe it's under 10 UK pounds, under 10 skrillers, darling dears. Okay, let's dive right in and unpack. Oh, let me bring up the thing so I can see who's in the chat, if I can find it, because I'm telling you, sometimes, listen, trying to track me down. Hold on, just a second, darling dears, let me reset it and see if I can see it here. Found it. Rupinda Wagwan, Cocaine Pineal, hello, GB Sol, you're good? Are you fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely? And Slim Jim, my old matey, are you good, Slim Jim? Always around, darling dears. Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. You have the energy of an 11. Okay? The energy of the 5, let's break this. Oh. The 11 itself, darling dears, we don't utilize the 11, darling dears. We break it down to a number 4. Why? Because the 11 is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus rules the 11th house in astrology, darling dears. So the energy of the 4, lean in, bestie, lean in. The energy of the 4, according to the Loshu grid, is about your wealth, it's about your prosperity, and it's also about your self-worth, darling dears. It's in the southeastern corner, darling dears. Okay, maybe you'll be traveling to there, or Intel will be coming from there, darling dears. Okay, right, let's press on. Let's press on. So the energy of the 4, darling dears, you could be a number 4 or a life path 22, or the numbers 4, 13, 22 and 31 will be in your hemisphere over the next few days. The number 4 is ruled by the letters D, M, and V. And as I said, it's ruled by Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius, hence the 11, darling dears. And it rules the letters DMT. So you've got DMV, DMT. This could be a name of a business, a first, middle, or last name. We're not going into the second name and twice removed name. No, blood. The first, middle, or last name. It could be a name of a business. It could be an idea that you've got floating around. The energy of the 4 is also ruled, darling dears, by the North Node. This is the path you want to be on, darling dears. Why? It's you fixing up what you need to be in place for your future, darling dears. This is the life you want to lead on this Malkuth. You're living according to your soul, darling dears. Your soul's wants and needs. What it needs to offload in this lifetime. So being in your North Node is where you need to be. You are naturally an organizer, a planner, darling dears. Some people would like to term you as what? A scapegoat. Never the scapegoat, blood. Forever the Ibex. Fist bump. How dare they? Ibex play chess, not checkers. You're an Ibex cat. Remember I told you that. Posh clap. Anyway, pressing on. Your luckiest numbers will be the 3, 6, and 9. Come through Tesla with everything. It's the key to the universe, darling dears. Your luckiest days will be Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. The number 4 is ruled by the astrological aspect of a square. So there was a lot of conflict, there was a lot of frustration, but it's about this powerful shift. Why? Because Uranus is the planet of unpredictability. It's the planet of being that rebel, darling dears, the rebel of everything. Let's dive a little deeper into the 11th house. As I said, the 11th house is Uranus, which rules Aquarius, which is a fixed air sign, darling dears. And the fixed air sign tells you that these changes that you've been going through, darling dears, it's been hard to change. Why? Because you was attaching yourself to what no longer serves you. It tells me that as a fixed sign, you are persistent. And because of this persistence, darling dears, you was able to tackle and go to a place where they've got to put respect on your name, darling dears. The 11th house is about your communities, your groups, organizations that you belong to. It also represents monies that are coming towards you, darling dears. The 11th house rules electricity, so things that are going online. This is why I keep telling you, bestie, start a YouTube, start a TikTok. You don't know whom your message is for, and every one of us is full of journeys, ideas that can be shared. Stop being afraid, darling dears. Just do it. Do it. The 11th house also represents your siblings, older siblings, darling dears, adopted family members. The 11th house also represents mentors and benefactors. Somebody's going to come through and try to flatter you, darling dears. Don't let them flatter you, right? Why? Because they're shepherds of the devil, darling dears. You can't be moved by flattery. Good golly and gosh, we're big cat. We've been at this too long. Okay, but definitely rule in some form of technology, darling dears. Let's get right up under and underneath Uranus energy. Uranus energy, as I said, it's about technology. It's about being forward thinking, darling dears. A shock is about to come to people around you. Remember, I told you that. People are going to see how you are changing the hemisphere that you're in, darling dears. You are extremely innovative, as I said, forward thinking. Uranus energy also rules what? Earthquakes. So we're going to be seeing some form of earthquake over the next, I'm hearing 6 days. Please mark it on the almanac and put it in the comments when it goes down, Bobby Brown. Because I'm telling you, I'm so busy with things, darling dears. Things that I like reading my books, learning new. I'm always upgrading my mind, darling dears. So when it goes down, put it in the comments and we can all say, well, Case did tell us. She did. Let's press on. Let's press on, darling dears. The energy of the 11 is ruled on the 48 laws of power by what? Making yourself indispensable, darling dears. It will create some kind of bridge, some kind of portal to some new beginning in your life. Make yourself indispensable in whatever field your hand is in, darling dears. Big Cat's got a hand in many pies. Make yourself indispensable by the level of knowledge you come through with, darling dears. What you give out, darling dears, because it's all about what? Giving out that energy. You will get it back tenfold. Remember, I told you that. All right, let's press on. Let's press on. The energy of the 11, according to the runestone, is ruled by the Hermit energy and the letters K, I, and C. Okay, all right. Hermit energy is air energy. It tells me that you're extremely patient. It also speaks about a challenge that you've been going through, darling dears. Reinforcements are on the way, whether it's from spiritual reinforcements or people put in your place to get you to the position that you need to be in. Okay, okay, come on, Case, get back on it. Sorry, I just had a brain fart then. The energy of the Hermit is Virgo energy, earth energy, as I said. It also speaks about for a time you've been a loner. Well, that is about to change. The energy of the 11 could also represent fans, people that support you coming in, darling dears. And it could also represent the haters too. Why? They're fans, blood. Listen, they're not haters, they're fans. They pay close attention to you. They're always in your mix. They even know if you had corn and it's coming out in your stools. Why? They're paying close attention, blood. Why not? You are like an anomaly, darling dears. You are different. The energy of the Uranus tells me that you are that rebel, darling dears. Celebrate your vive la différence. Fist bump. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. So we was talking about the Hermit energy. Your inner strength, darling dears, comes through study. So some form of study must be going on for you, darling dears, learning new things. People are going to start seeing you as being different, and as they see you as being different, darling dears, they will want to come and ride your coattails. You're also going to be taking time to reflect on the choices you've made in your relationships, darling dears. You need to look back at that again. Hermit energy is to shine that spiritual light on it, darling dears. Okay. If you're in a relationship, it suggests you've gone through a period that, yes, you may be within a relationship, but you've been gathering your own self, looking at things from your perspective, darling dears. A lot of soul searching, a lot of introspection, looking for that inner guidance. Okay? All right. Let's press on. Let's press on. Okay, did I get to the major arcana? The energy of the 11 itself on the major arcana is ruled by justice, Libra energy, darling dears. In the upright, good justice is coming your way. Good luck in court cases, any form of competition. The justice card, as I said, is karmic justice in your favor. Consequences and repercussions, darling dears, is going to be laid down for some. Well, you are Ibex, darling dears, and the checkmate is always on the tip of your tongue. You're not trying to make anybody feel feeble-minded, but listen, you've got to leave the villagers with the villagers, darling dears, the villagers. Let's press on. Let's press on. So, at the side, we've got 2 threes, darling dears. 2 threes is what gossip, blood. They're talking about you. What did I say? They're paying close attention. They're trying to see how you're getting this money. Where is your money coming from? Oh my God. It's making my hair get itchy, blood. My hairlines they spend so much time focusing on what you got going on instead of pouring it. Well, there'll be forever fans, darling dears. Forever fans. Okay, let's get a deck and see what they're dealing with. What's the goss? That's a lot of goss. Well, the goss is most coming from a shapeshifter, a Judas in a Peter suit, darling dears. You know the difference between Judas and Peter. Peter had a bad day. Judas was wicked to the core. Okay? Using spells to try and manifest you back. You better resist that with your everything. Call your ancestral team. Why? They're your security. But remember, they can't help you unless you ask. Right? Look. Cut cords. Clearing work is needed, darling dears. Cut them cords so there can be no way back. Didn't I just tell you to call your ancestors? Right? Don't trust them, blood. Don't trust them. What there, right? I secretly hate my mother and all females. So this is a what? What is it? A misogynist, because it's a misandrist that hates. Is it misandrist? Which one is it? Is it misandrist that hates the women or the misogynist? I'm mixed up. I'm calling on for a little help, darling dears. Hit me up in the comments. Okay? Jeanette, MOH, on your busy day, you managed to tune in. Big cat, wave. So this person don't like no form of female, darling dears. Considering the fact they were born of a jackal, they wouldn't like female, darling dears. They were born of a jackal. Big cat, I nearly jumped out my chair. You got the blank card. This is fortunate, darling dears. It doesn't come out very often. It means you have a clean slate. It means some kind of wish or desire is about to be manifest for you, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. It doesn't matter what they listen. Call your ancestors and thank them, because whatever they're putting in place for you, darling dears, you deserve that shiznai. Big cat! Oh my God! I have never. And we've got the duality of the two. This is high priestess energy, darling dears. Yeah, you've been seeking that introspection. Again, we spoke about the hermit energy, and you are getting guidance, darling dears. You'll also be getting tipped at the post where you need to go. Listen, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the signs, feathers, all of that, darling dears. Numbers that come up. Pay attention. And before I press on, darling dears, look again at the dice. This is 11, darling dears. This is 11. You have an 11-11 fade. An 11-11 fade, partying, celebration, making a new foundation, somebody going into a new job. The energy of the wands is about being passionate about life, darling dears. It tells me that you've been tapping into your psychic abilities. Somebody's definitely going on some kind of career move or a career change, darling dears. But this is the time where you're being called for action, to act on whatever it is that you've been trying to manifest. Why? Divine just told you, you got a clean slate, blood. 2 blank cards. Let's go to the next one. Dare we? We dare. Why? Because we're big cat. Ibex to boot. This is a lot. Take what's on top, darling dears. The wicked are in spiritual prison where they need to be. About to go on what? A field trip past the sign that says you can't F off past this point. Yeah. What's underneath that, darling dears? Right? They've got an STD. They saw you as something to do, darling dears. It could also speak about what? An itchy and scratchy in their pantaloon, darling dears. Out of the mind, darling dears. Some kind of out-of-body experience is going on with them. Somebody's also created some kind of death sentence. Listen, none of us are getting out alive, but some people, the things that they've been doing, listen, they're begging for it, darling dears. Yes. Whatever's going on in their pantaloon, it needs to be removed by some kind of spiritual treatment. Listen, I don't do none of that removation. Nope, and nope again. Nope, they have to go and find a practitioner for that, and you better be careful, because a lot of them use what? That's right, bestie. Google spell. Base of the deck. Somebody's pregnant at this moment in time. You could be a mother, or it could speak about what? The infinite possibilities that you are about to birth on this Malkuth. Remember, I told you that. Right, let's get your Oracle Ancestral message. Let's use a deck that I haven't used in a while. Every deck is saying, pick me, blood. Listen. Well, you've cut some cords, darling dears. Most definitely, whenever the elastic band breaks, you've broken some kind of cycle. Good for you, bestie. Good for you. I hope it's something to do with the psychology of money, right? Because when you get it, you want to be able to keep it, darling dear. Long-term goals and all that. This is about, on the base of the deck, we've got sexuality, darling dears. Maybe you'll be flirting with someone new. Remember, I told you that. Or somebody's trying to get into your sexuality. Yeah. Why? Because some cords have not been cut. Let's see. And an 11-11 fade. I love it. I don't hate it. Parties, celebrations, people going into stable relationships, healthy relationships. When we get the 11-11 fade, this is a blessed, sweet spot to be in, darling dears. Oh, yes, it is. And go make sure I've uploaded the Diddy reading, darling dears, but I've broken down the chapters Okay, the next one that's going to be coming out will be before the 20th of November, darling dears. Oh my God, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. The whole industry is going down, Bobby Brown. The things that, oh my God. Because, can I just talk about Diddy for a moment? But then again, who go and check me, boo? Because you see, with Diddy, right? Yeah, he's done a lot of bad things and he thought he could get away with it, right? Because I think it was in May 2023, he sued, is it Diageo? That big alcohol and beverage company, darling dears, because they owe him billions, right? He sued them, and then by November 2023, Cassie was filing the papers on what, the freak-offs, darling dears. So essentially, I'm saying alleged because I'm looking at the information. I've read that shit, darling dears, right? If these people was approached Cassie to destabilize Diddy, darling dears, right? She got a check from the company as well as the check from the money that Diddy gave her, darling dears. I do believe it's something to do with him suing those people, but he was biting the hand that was feeding him because these people had been paying into him. He was the face of Ciroc. He brought that level up, but he wasn't really getting money from Ciroc. That's why they made so many different ones from that, like, the Ciroc citrus, and you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta, because there's so much information going on about Diddy and all the things. Yeah, I do believe he did those things, you know what I mean? But, baby, the reason why he's being toppled is because of whom he sued. Remember I told you that. And yes, he did do, well, we've got to say allegedly. Well, allegedly, yes, he did do those things. Allegedly, right? Right. And then I was watching the video, the VT last night. When you're minding your own business. I saw him and his mother sitting down and talking, and then he was saying that she's sorted. And then I saw the white fingernail. Why has the mother got the white fingernails? I thought it was only for his freak-offs. Why has the mother got the white nails? And then he kissed her on the lips. Listen, baby, I don't know who this is, but when my progeny were babies, darling dears, I trained them that when I went to kiss them, they automatically gave me their forehead. I've never kissed my babies on the mouth. Why? The wrong person kissing your baby on the mouth could give them herpes, could give them some kind of life-threatening disease. Trust and believe. So for a man in his 50s, how old was he? Half of 100, kissing his mum in her mouth, in her boat race, darling, and then telling everybody that she can touch the floor with her palms. Listen, why are you flirting with your mother? That's unacceptable. I couldn't imagine my soon-to-be 21-year-old son coming to kiss me on my lips. I'm like, fuck your feet. Hey, oi! Listen. Sorry, I had to drag it across the wall to emphasize my point, darling dears. That's not on. It's not on. And then she wrote that letter saying that we're destroying his we ain't done shit. We haven't done nothing. We just turned on the internet and they assaulted us with all of this shiznai. Base of the deck, darling dears. We need to find emotional balance. Listen, emotional balance is where you need to be. Again, it reminds us of what? The Ace of Cups, darling dears. We love it. The Ace of Cups is like, yes, it can represent pregnancy to some, darling dears. And a new lover, new relationships, new opportunities coming your way, opportunities for abundance and happiness, darling dears. Why? Because it's rooted in compassion. And remember, the compassion must go to yourself first. This is why you are Ibex, darling dears. This is why you are going to be what? Justified in what? Humbling yourself and leaving situations that was not for you. It wasn't easy, but it was so worth it. Going towards stability, harmony, peace, and what? Fluidity, darling dears. Like I said, we need to balance out our chakras, get into our vagus nerves, darling dears, and utilizing it as often as possible. Base of the deck, because we're getting into that sweet spot of pleasure. And again, for some, this is a new lover, a new friendship coming into your life. Remember, I told you that. All right. Where are we going now? To the decks. Let's get a deck I haven't used in a while. Base of the deck, we've got the High Priestess in the reverse. This is a gossiper. It could be a female or a he-male, one of the two, darling dears. It speaks about someone not above using what? Spell work to manifest you back. Did I not just tell you that, darling dears? Did I not just tell you? Listen, I don't think you understand how your power grid works, darling dears. You're the type of person, right, that if you break up with someone, this person will try and spin the block 4, 5, 6, 10 years, even 20 years back. Why? You were irreplaceable, darling dears. You being around this person or people, it uplifted them. It protected them from getting whatever karma was meant to rain. So when you humbly remove yourself, they thought you was leaving as the scapegoat. They didn't know you was in what? In covert mode as the Ibex, darling dears. Greatest of all times. Let them chop it up. You don't care. And as I said, someone's trying to manifest you back. Remember, they may even try and put an itchy and scratchy on your, darling dears. Something that has to be spiritually removed. Cut them cords, darling dears. Cut them cows. Give it a good shufty. I've barely got any desk left. If you ever saw how long this desk is, but I've got all of my oracle cards to the left. Tell us what's going on. Came out in the reverse, darling dears. Whatever they did in the dark is about to be unmasked. 6 of Wands on its forehead, darling dears. Even their spiritual team is saying, you shouldn't have done that, blood. They shouldn't have done it. They're about to be shown, revealed, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. Someone who couldn't resist any form of temptation around you, darling dears. For others, the 6 of Wands could speak about the breaking of an engagement. This is a what? A narc, a full-on narc, sociopath, somebody with a complex B personality, darling dears. Divine wants you to what? Recognize the efforts that you was giving to them so that you can give it back to yourself, darling dears. Yeah. This is the time for you to what? Focus on building your confidence, darling dears, and trusting in the what? The 2 blank cards, blood. This never comes out. Never. In all the years that I've been doing reading on YouTube, darling dears, you'll get one occasionally, but 2 and in the same color. This is the heart chakra, darling dears. Remember, we're told to what? Guard our hearts, not close our hearts. All right. So something in the dark, eh? Listen, whatever they did, this was some nasty work, darling dears. They didn't realize they was going to be blocking their own blessings. Somebody could be having car trouble at this moment in time. I'm also seeing the Wands on its face. Be careful of some kind of fire hazard in their home. Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. You're about to get some form of message coming towards you. This is also Cupid's arrows, darling dears. It could represent a love situation coming towards you, but it speaks about quick movement. Something moving quickly, or you're moving quickly. Heartbreak hotel, darling dears. Maybe it's you moving on from the heartbreak that was caused to you in the past. This is all levels of abuse, darling dears. We've got Saturn energy and the Libra energy. Lots of karma associated with this card. Good golly. And the gosh, darling dears. And the gosh. It tells me that there was a lot of disappointment in this situation. For some, it was some kind of love triangle. It could also be just a straight up what? Back, front, neck tabber, darling dears. The ones that like to go for the white meat, the ones that pretend to be your friend. There's a lot of bad emotions around this situation, but this was most definitely the ending of a situation, ending that pain, saving yourself. Justice, Libra energy. Justice, Libra energy is what? One-to-one relationships. Yeah, they did something in the dark, blood. A lot of cards falling down. Yeah. You've got the Knight of Wands. This is wickedness, darling dears. Wickedness. Knight of Wands on his forehead. This is a dick dealing mattress back. This is a what? Merchant of slander. Jeremiah 9:40. But remember, a merchant of slander will always invite a beating. Hold back those efforts, darling dears. Don't fight them. Why? Because you're coming through with Queen of Cups energy, darling dears. As I said before, highly utilizing your psychic abilities, darling dears. I love it. I don't hate it. The energy of the 4 is also master number 22. It tells me that you're a builder, a problem solver, and right about now you are playing the long game, darling dears. Listen to your intuition and your discernment. Base of the deck, darling dears. They're losing money. Somebody's lost a car. There's a fire going on around them, or there's about to be. Yeah, and this is their karma. This is a karmic card. It's another karmic card. Yeah, they was playing with fire. Why? The 8th house is occult energy. I told you, they're trying to do chaos magic to bring you back to a situation, bring you back to wickedness, darling dears. Don't you love your hairline? They would love one more round, Julie, with your hairline. The 8th house in the upright also speaks about some form of money coming towards you. It could speak about money within joint finances, money in the form of, I don't know, retirement, taxes, I don't know, insurance. But it's about something coming towards you, some form of asset that you can use. Why? Because you've let go of this situation. This person was a financial drain on you. And when we see Pentacles on its face, it was affecting your health, darling dears. This, darling dears, is an 8. And we've got another 8 here. So we've got 2 8s on the tableau, darling dears. This situation, because 2 8s speak about a situation that should have been a brief affair. Somebody, listen, I'm one of those people. I tried to make someone into a lifetime person when they're a friggin' branch, blood. They're a branch. They break at the slightest of anything, darling dears. And when you try to keep one of those branch people in your life, blood, it will destabilize your everything. Listen, didn't I tell you about your prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus, and your amygdala? Wait. Yeah. But something is coming towards you with a swiftness. Oh, 3 cards. The first card, getting over whatever betrayal there was. The energy of the 2 is seeing that 2 of Cups behind you, darling dears. Washing your face like David. Look, the Hermit energy, which was at the beginning of the read. This is the major arcana, the isolation that you have to go into, darling dears. Moving away from betrayal. Look! Everything I just said is here. The 11-11 fade. Listen, you're going to be celebrating. Somebody's also building some kind of a foundation. Maybe you're making your own home or remodeling a home. Lots of happiness, lots of celebrations. You may even be celebrating some kind of a milestone, okay? It also speaks about romance. It speaks about union, darling. This is what you need. Imagine I'm giving you the read and then all the cards are coming up within the read. This is what I like. This 11-11 fade. This card was by itself. Empress energy. Someone don't like it, darling. This is either Horatio or Hyacinth. Bucket. They get no bouquet, darling dears. It speaks about a loss of money, lots of jealousy being directed at you at this moment in time. Jealousy? Yeah, because them is a fool. Feeble-minded, darling dears. You gave the village back the idiot when you chose not to be the scapegoat and decided you was going to be Ibex. Why not, eh? Posh clap. You realize what needed to be toe tagged in your life. And if this represents your mother's energy, this was not a mother to you. It could be father energy as well, because you know gender in tarot is fluid, darling dears. Or both of the people were piles of shit, darling dears. Hot stinking shit. But this was no mother energy, darling dears. Remember I told you that. Maybe this is what you had to overcome as far as some people are concerned. Overcoming that mothering energy. That was not mothering. And if you are lucky enough to be a mother, you must be the mother that you never had for yourself. But these people are fools. And where will foolish people be found? Amongst other fools, darling dears. It take one fool to make many fools. Well, they're making many people a fool around them. And that's their business. Base of the deck, you're secure. You focused on the bag, darling dears. This could be a new home, a new apartment. It could be a new business. Money, darling dears. Money, honey, coming towards you. Four of Pentacles in the upright, I might add. This is the sun in Capricorn, darling. Earth energy. Going towards a more stable version of your life, having more foundation. It also speaks about you, because the Four of Pentacles, there's also a downside. Even though it's in the upright, you've got some kind of emotional blockage that you need to overcome, and that will be overcome with what? Cord cutting. If you're going to cut the cords, best time to do it is on a new moon. Remember I told you that. Yeah, you focused on the back, darling dears, and it's all good in your hood. Sun energy. This speaks about nice times ahead, darling dears. I love it. I don't hate it. The sun energy is about your inner child, darling dears. It tells me that your self-esteem, it also speaks, as I said, achievements. Some kind of milestone is is coming towards you, darling dears. Something significant. Okay? Okay, this is all about positivity, warmth. You could be going on holiday. When we see the sun energy on the Rider-Waite deck, it has a brick wall behind you, so it's putting the past behind you like a ponytail. It's not allowing the past to overtake your mind and your emotions, darling dears. Remember your vagus nerve. Hey, remember your vagus nerve. Yeah, you need to get up in that, darling dears. Because I'm telling you, some funky times are about to exist. Many of you are solo dolo, like the boys or girls on the pole, and this is also a reminder not to argue with no one. Why? They've got nothing to lose, darling dears. They didn't know that you would sneak away. They thought you was the scapegoat. They didn't know your spiritual ranking. They didn't know that you are meant to be a North Node. You was meant to release your lineage, darling dears. The Nine of Pentacles will soon go to the Queen, and then up to the Empress, darling dears. Most definitely avoid the drama, and this is by no mistake you are single by choice, darling dears. There's a difference between being on the market and waiting for some fool to come along and not being on the market. Why? Because you was focused on getting the money, creating some kind of stable foundation, and you need to read this book so that when you're thinking about your money, you know how to line it up so that you're working towards your long-term goals. We don't like the quick gratification because you'll pay for it in the end. The back end, darling dears, without the Vaseline. And I don't mean to be crude, but it is what it is. You're building a stable foundation. Knight of Wands, darling dears. I love it. I don't hate it. Some of you may be even feeling that you're going through quiet times at this moment in time, but this is all for a reason, darling dears. Everything is all for a reason. I can't even talk now. A reason. Why am I speaking like that? I'm losing my voice. It's been a difficult, hard climb ahead, darling dears. Or it's been difficult climbing, darling dears, but you are Ibex. You have creative inspiration. Many people don't have that. Your dreams are coming to this reality. You got 2 blank cards. You have to focus on what you want. You have to be working towards what you want. Because I'm telling you, on the 20th of November 2024, when Pluto goes back into Aquarius, you have to be on the path of what you want to create in your life, darling dears. Remember I told you that, and if you want to know what house it's going to be in, go back and watch my Pluto in Aquarius read, darling dears. I've given you all of the peccadillos, but it's your choice whether you choose it or not. But I always task you to research everything I say, because everything I say is the truth, roof, pinkies up, but you have to come to your own level of understanding. Hermit energy. Let's get one final card, then we're off to get great, darling dears, to get great. We're gonna go with the Making Magic. Rarely use these, darling dears. Final card for the big cat. Oh, fell into my hands. You're on target, darling dears. This is a sigil. You can draw it, keep it with you, and burn it at the next new moon, darling dears. You are on target. Remember, I told you that. Follow your ideal life path, okay? Your life path as well as your north node. Look at those things, darling dears, and see exactly where you need to be. This is also a sigil fire energy. The element of fire heralds new life, renewed passion, and positive transformations. I kid you not, it's all come out in the read. Now we know everything, darling dears. This too is a sigil. You can draw it, keep it with you, and burn it at the next new moon. Remember, I told you that. On that note, I drops me mic. To love to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks, where I also upload videos. And as I always say, don't get smoked. Don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. So until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, 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 cat.